failing them terribly. And this is why he needs to be recalled. And this is why I'm going to run for governor of the state of California.
There is no recall election like a California recall election. What once seemed like a zany long shot became the successful 2003 recall of a California Democrat that famously put Schwarzenegger in power. Many were surprised to wake up to that news. As the rapper 𝙎𝙚 famously put it, why they come up with witness protection, why they let the Terminator win the election. Come on, pay attention. Recalls really can change everything, which Democrats are keeping in mind as California Governor Newsom faces this recall election, his own, tomorrow. And it is a big one. It is a kind of a long shot that mixed initial fury over COVID rules with some other right-wing attacks. Now, let's get into it because this is a big story in politics. Technically, there are over 40 people running against him. From the Republican he beat last time, who is focused on California's bare necessities, campaigning with an actual 1,000-pound bear.
The reason the bear is here is to demonstrate that we're going to have to be a beast to tackle these special interests.
Is that the reason the bear is there? We're not sure, fact check, why the bear is there. But look, we love animals. Now, Cox may not be the most imposing option that Republicans have in this race. He's basically a former losing candidate who's faced a range of strange problems, including getting hit with a subpoena in a case about him ducking bills that came, as you see in the footage there, during a Republican debate. But let's be clear. Many did laugh at Schwarzenegger's turn from acting to politics initially, a fusion of entertainment and government that now looks downright quaint in our reality show Trump-era America. So maybe be careful counting anyone out, especially the reality stars in California. Caitlyn Jenner is running as a Republican in this race. Does anyone really think Kim Kardashian couldn't go take a House seat in many parts of the nation right now if she wanted? Again, as 𝙎𝙚 would say, pay attention. Then there's a right-wing firebrand viewed as the top Republican candidate in the race tomorrow, radio host Larry Elder, who says things that are literally ineffable, like we don't have the ability to paraphrase them with words in a newscast. For example, here you go.
When people talk about reparations, do they really want to have that conversation? Because, like it or not, slavery was legal. And so their property, their legal property, was taken away from them after the Civil War. So you could make an argument that the people that are owed reparations, and not only just black people, but also the people whose, quote, property, close quote, was taken away after the end of the Civil War.
Now, if this is the competition, why were the Democrats worried at all about tomorrow's vote? That might be a fair question. Well, part of the answer may be more about anger at the incumbent in this very tough time that California and many states have gone through than any wide embrace of the challengers I just showed you. Consider that just within the last month, about half of California voters, where it's a pretty blue state, were ready to boot Newsom, which shows a general weakness, open to some kind of alternative, while the latest polling heading into the vote shows a much stronger 60% of likely voters backing him. You see the September numbers for Keep would be good news for the incumbent governor. He's also been propelled by a $70 million campaign waged just to hold on to office. And if you've heard stories about the modern Democratic Party taking campaigns for granted or leaning on polls and skipping key states at the last minute, well, that's not the Democrats' look right now. We can tell you the Biden administration fighting hard to help this blue state. Biden will be there tonight on election eve. Harris was out there just last week campaigning with the governor. Now, these races always come back to turnout. Recalls are weird. They're not on a normal election day. The big two questions tomorrow are who will show up and whether the Republican Party hurt itself in a potentially winnable race by pushing so many Trump-style candidates over potentially more appealing options for this largely blue state.
Question tonight in California, will Governor Gavin Newsom survive a recall vote? President Biden in California tonight in these final hours, and Matt Gutman is there too.
As he fights to keep his job, Governor Gavin Newsom welcoming President Biden to California tonight and warning voters the stakes could not be any higher.
This election is a matter of life and death. Public health is on the ballot.
This recall effort widely seen as a response to the governor's handling of COVID. the governor making California the first state to go into lockdown back in March 2020. Then in November, this image went viral.
We've obtained this photo of Governor Gavin Newsom dining at the luxurious French Laundry restaurant in
the governor violating his own COVID restrictions to attend a birthday dinner at one of the country's most expensive restaurants. He apologized, but his opponents pounced, gathering enough signatures to put a recall on the ballot. Californians are voting on two questions. The first, should Newsom be recalled, and who should replace him? The list of candidates vying for his job is long, 46 in total, including TV personality Caitlyn Jenner and businessman John Cox, who's been campaigning with a live Kodiak bear. Today, I caught up with the man who's been leading that pack, conservative radio host Larry Elder. He opposes minimum wage, has called climate change a myth, and wants to roll back many of the state's COVID restrictions.
As governor, what will be your first action?
Well, one of the many things I'm going to do is to repeal the mandate that state workers who've not been vaccinated be tested once a week and wear a face mask at work.
But right now, with the Delta variant surging in parts of the country with low vaccination rates and few mandates, here in California, polls give Newsom a wide advantage.
And David, one of the quirks of California's recall election laws means that the next governor of the state could be elected by a small fraction of the voters. But so far, Democratic turnout has been high, and it's one reason that the governor's team tells me they are feeling confident tonight. David.
All right, we'll see. Matt Gutman, thank you.